All right, we're looking at a little bit of a live trading going on currently. We're on MNQ. What's going on, guys? Hope you are enjoying these YouTube videos. Shoot a follow. Definitely get some more subscribers going on. But let's get down to the mix here. Um, Again, this is my view, guys. Right? This is my official view. I am no longer changing. I've been trying to adapt and trying to make some movements around to figure out which indicator to use besides Jarvis. Obviously, you could use Jarvis as well by itself, but it is good to have other contexts around. This is my double vision, right? Below is the 15-minute time frame with the 4-hour fractal, and I also had the daily there. So it's a 4-hour fractal, and then I also include the daily as well, right? As you can see, there's a sweep here that happened on the 4-hour, right? This is the C2. We're now in the C3 as of 2 o'clock. It looks like this was confirmed. So it's your C3 candle. And then there was an SMT here that just happened um, on the 5 minute. So this is my execution. This is primarily for my context down below, right? To get an idea on where we are. So as you can see, at 2 o'clock, this sweep was confirmed, right? So now we're expecting a continuous downtrend for at least presumably for 4 hours, right? So from 2 o'clock to, so that means from 2 to 6 p.m. Obviously, the time will stop at 1500 hour. What's that at 5 o'clock rather. So we still got about a good hour and some change left over here. But that's what we're expecting. As you can see, there really hasn't been too much movement to the downside here on the overall higher context. But let's just get down to the execution. There's an SMT, ES, right? SMT to the bearish downside. So what I have set up is in my 7 indicators, right? Is I have my Jarvis, obviously, that's the central point. 2 degrees fractal model. This macro basically tracker that just tells me when it's the macro time. My Bollinger Bands, stat map, 2 degrees, Chadbull Elite, and the inverted fair value gap by 2 degrees. That's it. Um, so as you can see, the stats is changing live to the left. This is Jarvis in work here. What we're seeing is a D key. We have some opposing um, pressure here. Okay. A1 is currently printing, which is giving this green. This yellow with this little tubing means that it needed some more information from the structure as it was being built out. Currently, it's looking like it's green here in regards to the status of the structure. Right. There is still no DNA print yet to get the full-fledged idea of what this structure is going to be. But if we look at the SMT here, right? SMT came, the big candle came down, bearish candle came down. This is a potential sweep building here from the fractal model. As you can see, there's a little bearish line here. It means that there is a potential sweep here. As you can see, this needle swept this needle, closed back inside. It created a fair value gap. But what we would want, right? We can't just enter here. I mean, of course, sometimes crazy old me will just enter here and be like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna do this, and then I'm gonna go for like a 1 hour, right? I don't ask too much from the market, man. The market's crazy, um, and it just might do that, right? But based off of what T-Trade states, when you see a point of interest, which is a fair value gap here, like this, right? You want to see the structure come into the fair value gap and then close below. That means that yes, we want to continue to go down a bit more. Um, Even with this big candle, you just enter here. You can wrap the whole stop in here if you wanted to, or take it to the potential sweep up here. But nevertheless, you would want the structure to turn, come into this fair value gap and come down. And sometimes it may not do it, right? It may just continue down, and then it may come back up, create another fair value gap, and then come down. Maybe you can take it down there as a continuation. But this is a potential sweep, right? So this would be considered your C2 candle. Now, from T-Trade's perspective, he doesn't really trade reversals. He waits for the next candle to see what the continuation looks like. Sometimes I trade reversals. It's risky because it's still the structure is still being built out. But sometimes you may get that reversal within the same C2 candle, and then the C3 candle hasn't even started yet. Uh, but yeah, this is where we are right now. If this end up closing and this is an actual sweep, then this candle becomes C2 automatically, and then the next candle is the continuation candle. Um, but yeah, man, this is Jarvis, man. This is fun stuff. I've been making some decent money now. Now that I'm starting to really understand how this whole market works, and now my execution is the 5 minute. I love the 5 minute. That's what I use to do my trading. Less volatility, give the time the candles to build out, and the structure to me is just better, right? It's not too late, it's not too early. It's kind of like just about right. I used to love the 2 minute, but I think even with the 2 minutes, it's still a little bit too volatile. But the 5 minute is solid. It's a solid setup, especially if you have the 1 hour fractal. And as you can see with this 1 hour fractal, I have 9 candles because I want to see exactly where everything is. I think 4 candles, even though if you have 4 hours, I like to push it to the almost the entire day of trading, so that way you get an idea on where everything is. If you feel like you're way up in the supply or you're way down in the demand, right? Um, so yeah, okay. So we're seeing the candle starting to come back in. See this buy signal starting to pop up. Let's see what happens here. This what we want to see is structure get into this fair value gap. It doesn't have to completely close it, but it needs to come inside and then close back under. If it does that, then this is a solid move. We got about 5 minutes left. Another thing too, with these fractals, sometimes I used to just get into these structures and just get in and forget to look at the time. This is very, very important. As the time starts to dwindle down, like when it starts to get below, I'm going to say when you're getting like around the 5 minutes, few minutes range left, market likes to do funky things. Like they'll say, okay, you know what, let me rush up and try to close above here, finish whatever I have to finish up here, and then come down before the next candle opens up. It's crazy. Um, so there you go. See that? Look at that. Boom. Wow, that's crazy. Look what it just did there. Came up, stomped their structure out, came back down. Um, this is what it's looking like for the DNA. -2 is the confidence score. This means that it's an unsponsored displacement, USD. So it's saying that it's not sponsored, right? So now you're waiting to see if there's going to be any energy that's really going to come through here to negate this particular icon. Um, this was a red for my sniper configuration. If this was a structure that Jarvis said I can take. And then the red here means that it didn't print the acceptance. And then once the acceptance doesn't print, it doesn't even look for commitment because acceptance didn't print. That's why this commitment is gray here. Yeah, and you see, stomped out. See that? There's your stomp out. So you were using Jarvis. Jarvis prints a stop loss line for you. And as you can see, this stop loss line was right inside of this fair value gap. This is the reason why you got to wait, right? You really got to wait because if you use this, you would have been stomped out. Now this candle is coming down. This is only one upside candle. So you want this structure to close below this upside candle all the way. And if it does, then this technically could be considered a protected swing. Like this is a protected swing. Then you can still enter and then still use maybe this fair value gap as your top and see where it goes. But yeah, man, this is fun stuff, man. I mean, obviously, every video what I will do going forward is just turn everything off so you can see Jarvis naked. So here you go. Right, this is what it looks like with just Jarvis and the Bollinger Bands. Okay, you can see from here it tells you this particular cell structure as you see how it ended. That's why sometimes you see it was green before. You see where it ended. It ended as you needed more information, and you needed more information here as well. So it didn't end well. It ended the same way. There was no upgrade, there was no downgrade. It just basically was a lateral move, right? Needed more information at confirmation, needed more information at confirmation evaluation, and look what it did. Stumped you right out, right? What's interesting is look at where the line was for the pullback, because see the pullback fragile, pullback dash F, you see that? It put the line right here for the pullback, and the stop, your stop loss was here. Look what happened. That needle hit that line perfectly and reversed. So now, what would you consider this trade? Right now, I can't even get into it. This would have been a great trade. This is considered a zombie trade now because sell signal came down, it got stomped out, turned into zombie. Now you're waiting to see what happens. And as you can see, this was your confirmation. This is your A1 candle, and your A1 candle looks like it's gonna probably close below this up candle here. And if it does, as long as it closes below here, this is the candle for you to enter on. Now, how you enter, you could enter right at the close, or maybe, maybe to here, or you want to do 50%, or you want to come a little bit higher, but you really don't want it to come back up here because it's already did this loop. So probably you would either enter at close or maybe give it maybe a good 25% in, at the bottom of this candle, and then you enter, and that's basically it. Um, but always at the end of every video, I will just show you Jarvis naked, right? This is just Jarvis in the Bollinger Bands. You can still trade this if you want. It still creates all of the PTR. As you can see, there's a PTR here. This is a great magnet for it to bounce, especially this is a brand new PTR, as you can see here, right? It just created it and it hasn't really interacted with this at all yet. So this is a very fresh magnetic zone here. Um, that's what it looks like naked, right? You turn everything else back on, then all of a sudden you have all of that bells and whistles to give you even more context, which is definitely helpful. Hope you enjoyed the video.